welcome back to Linda's Pantry. And today I am going to make a delicious dessert using rhubarb. So I am still picking rhubarb. It's the end of July. I'm picking rhubarb off of my 1-year-old plants that I planted from seed last year. So I picked some, I put some in the freezer in my garden update, and I left some out. So I need to make a couple of desserts, and I'm super excited about this. I actually should double the recipe and take some to work, but I'm not going to. I'm going to save the rest and probably put it in the freezer or make another dessert another day. Because when you put it in water like this, and I'm just going to chat about this for a second. I know I went over that in my garden update, but if you didn't watch that, when you pick the rhubarb, you want to pick it, pull it away from the base. So it's got this little cup here. That little cup is very important. If you leave that intact, you know, you can bring it in, wash it, and I cut the leaves off, but I leave a little bit. That way the stem doesn't peel and dry out. And these have been in the refrigerator for 3 days. They're still just perfect. They are not dry. I just changed the water yesterday, so it's all good to go. So we are going to cut up some rhubarb. I need 1.5 cups of rhubarb. So let me bring you in close. There's 3 different layers to this. So you've got your cheesecake layer, because rhubarb. Cheesecake rhubarb bars. No, rhubarb cheesecake bars. You've got your cheesecake part. You've got your rhubarb filling part, and you've got your shortbread sort of crust. So I'm gonna bring you in close, and I'm using a duck egg today. Yay, because I traded a dozen duck eggs from my neighbor for the rhubarb bread that I made for you guys. I had put that loaf of bread that when I did the muffins and the bread, I put it in the freezer, wrapped it up real tight, put it in the freezer, and then she said, I'll trade you, because she had never had rhubarb. And she goes, I want those muffins. I said, the rhubarb ones? Yes. And I thought, oh, I don't want to heat up my kitchen. And then I remembered I had the loaf in the freezer, so I traded her a dozen duck eggs for that loaf, and that made us both very happy. So anyways, I guess, you know, it came in handy in a pinch. So I'm going to be doing some other zucchini breads. I'll probably do another rhubarb zucchini bread and get that in the freezer for later. Anytime you need one of those sweet breads, it's super easy. So, and zucchini is coming on. All right, let's come on and close. Let's do this recipe. Okay, so because the kitchen is literally torn apart, I have to, there's no plug-in anywhere else, so I've got to do this over here. Remodels are so much fun. All right, so we're going to focus right there. I have my hand mixer out. I've got 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese that is soft. I'm going to break this duck egg right here because the shells are super hard, but I don't want to put it in there just in case something's wrong with this egg and then have my, you know, my cream cheese be ruined. But look at that beautiful egg, and that is almost 1/2 cup. That's 1/2 cup measure. Almost 1/2 cup. They have more protein. They're so good. They have more protein. The only thing that I'm not a fan of is if you cook these too fast, the whites get rubbery because of that. So 1 duck egg right there. 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. And it says 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to measure with my hard toes. Oh, darn. Anyways, we're going to get this mixed up. And look it. If I was really thinking I should have done a big old batch of this, because these would freeze as well. I really want some holiday desserts already made up. So let me come back when I'm done here mixing this up, and I'll meet you at the other counter. So that's what it should look like. You want to really beat it up as smooth as you can get it. Little tiny chunks of the cream cheese is okay, but you don't want it too chunky. So I'm going to get to cutting up rhubarb. And I want the real red stalks here. Like I said, this has already been washed. Okay, get that off there and that dryer. And there was one there that I did not have the leaf end of it. It broke off. So we'll get that off there. And that cup. But look how beautiful this rhubarb is. I'm not joking. That's gorgeous rhubarb right there. I am super excited. It's not woody. It's not, yeah. And I'm going to dice this up kind of fine. We need 1.5 cups, it tells me. So, and I don't remember where I got this recipe. It was online, but I've used it several times. It's a big hit. Yeah, it's so good. Okay, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful rhubarb. So see, you don't even, if you were buying rhubarb in the grocery store, you don't need very much. But I found it's pretty expensive. So that's why I plan on growing as much as I can, because it is definitely one of my favorites. I absolutely adore it because it's tart. It's not overly, you know, it's not sweet at all. You have to add the sugar, but you can control that. So, pretty sure we're close to 1.5 cups here. Let's find out. Yep. There's a couple pieces that are a little big. That's okay. Fix that right up. Like I said, I just want it fine enough. I mean, it's going in a bar, like a cookie bar. So, almost. Oh my gosh. I couldn't have done that any better. Holy cow. Let's see. Yep, 1.5 cups exactly. Okay. So that, I've got my bowl here. Let's get rid of the mess. Put that in the sink for wash up, and get rid of these tops and bottoms. And you can compost the leaves and the you know, anything you cut off. You just don't want to feed it to your animals. It is toxic. It takes a lot to make any, you know, an animal sick, and they typically won't eat it if it's not, you know, what they should be eating, unless they are starving. Then, yeah, okay. And now I have 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and so I've got my sugar here. I have to go downstairs for everything out of the pantry, so I've got my sugar here. I bring it up in, you know, 1 quart at a time. So there's 1/2 cup of sugar there, and then it wants me to do a tablespoon of water. So we're just going to, in that same little, we'll just measure that out like that. That's just to get it wet, I think. And we'll mix that up. So good. And honestly, you're just having a little bar, so it's a treat. It's not, it'd be great with a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Oh my gosh. Or if you make homemade ice cream, put this in your homemade ice cream. That would be phenomenal. Okay, see how pretty that is? Okay, I get why they wanted you to put the water in there. Okay, so now I have got to do this is for the crumb topping, and I apologize again for I don't have I don't have the correct bowls. My bowls are all still packed until we get, and I don't want to unpack anything. I hope I have 1.5 cups of flour here. So there's 1.5 cups. Okay, I did. I had 1.5 cups. All right. So that, and I'll refill these. I'll go downstairs and refill those so they're ready for the next recipe, whatever that may be. Okay. And if you guys want to see more rhubarb recipes before the end of the season, let me know. Because you could also use frozen rhubarb or even canned rhubarb. I do have canned rhubarb that it's beautiful. That would be just fine in this recipe. So don't limit yourself to fresh. That is not what has to happen. So now I need, I'm probably going to need a fork or let's get this. I can do it with this. We need 1.5 cups of melted butter. That can't be bad for you. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's a good little pinch, right? And no, I'm not measuring exactly, but it's okay. And I need 1/2 cup of sugar. So for this, it's kind of like a shortbread. So let's get my 1/2 cup measure back here. And we'll just use this 1/4 cup because that's got the sugar in it anyway. So there's 1/4 and 1/2 cup. Okay. And oh my gosh, can you tell I'm excited? Kind of mix your sugar and your flour together. It'll make mixing the butter in super easy because you don't have, trying to make sure everything's even. Okay. And my secret to not splattering butter all over your microwave, I think you saw it, is when you take it out, put your wrapper on top. It will be just fine. So 1.5 sticks of butter, melted. And we'll throw that away. And we'll get this mixed up. And you're going to put part of it in an 8x8 baking dish. And then half of it's going to be for the top. So I feel like it should be more dry, but I'm not going to add any more. It's the amount of butter. So, and obviously you don't have to spray this because there's a lot of butter. But I am going to put parchment because the last time I did one of these recipes, I did have it stick. But you know what? I know I'm gonna live on the wild side, and we'll just go with it. So I'm gonna get half of it down here, and we'll see how we can spread that out. Just the best you can, right? Yum. Get in with your clean hands because that spatula is not going to make it. It's not going to cut it. And kind of let it get up on the side a little bit of your pan if you can. I'm excited for this one. It's been, probably 2 years since I made this, and I haven't ever made it for you guys. It's usually, there's so many, the 3 parts to it, so it's kind of a, I'm going to leave a little bit more for this corner. There we go. So we've come up on the edge of everything, right? Just get in there. If you have nails, like I used to have the artificial nails overlaid on my own nails, and it would be hard for me to do this, but you can take you could take something like that and get it all nice and flat. Get your paw prints off of it. Okay, and that is perfect. And now, you guys, this is so wonderful. Okay, set that aside for 2 seconds here, and we're going to get right with the cream cheese mixture. And and the egg and the vanilla and the sugar. And we're just gonna put that right down on our crust. Okay, I've got my oven preheated, or it's preheating, I should say. It's not preheated yet, but it is preheating. And then you want to smear it. Oh, yeah. Now you can see why you want that little lip on your crust. Okay. I want to lick the spoon, but I don't need to eat a raw duck egg. Okay, now we're going to get this beautiful red rhubarb, and I'm going to use my hands to get this evenly on here. However you need to get it on there. Maybe I won't. We'll get it on. We'll get it on there. I'm left-handed, so I feel like I'm always not giving you the best visual, but you can get the picture. It could actually used a little bit more rhubarb. I don't know. It's already macerating with the sugar. And okay, so I'm going to spread this out as best I can. I need rhubarb everywhere, right? If I have to, I'm cutting up some more, but I don't think I will. Okay, do we feel like we got enough in this corner? I don't. Okay, yeah. How's that look? I think it looks great. Okay. Whew, so excited. Okay. This goes in the sink as well. Let me give a, well, I can't really, yeah, let me rinse my hands just real quick. And then I will get the topping on, and you're really gonna just crumble that on. So, and I guess I didn't need that. So you wanna spread this out as, you know, you want this kind of even. It's not going to spread on you. So there's my oven booping away. Beep boop. Okay. This is so rich and delicious. Okay. I might have to take my neighbor a piece. She's in love with rhubarb now. I'm going to probably get her some of my seedling plants that I've got this year. I'll be selling plants next year for 1-year-old plants, and we'll be planting at least 10 more plants to what we have now. So I'm gonna be in the rhubarb next year. I'm hoping to be able to sell the excess. And okay. Let's get the rest of that. It's that buttery goodness, you know? You gotta have it. Okay. So that's about how that should look. And this is gonna go in the preheated oven until that crust is golden brown, okay? So it's anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes. I'll bring you back and let you know. Hey guys, this looks so beautiful. This is exactly what you want it to look like. The crust is brown and the whole house smells amazing. I'm super excited, and it's still warm. I probably should wait a little while longer, but I need to get my dinner on the table, and so I am going to give you a taste test right now. So I'm just gonna pop a little corner out. I can't eat a bunch of this before dinner, but I want you to see what it looks like. And oh, look at that. So this is what you're going to be looking at right there. So nice, so good. Sorry, you guys. Blackberry bushes. So I'm just going to eat it like this, honestly. But I really want this with vanilla ice cream. And I'm not a big ice cream person, but once in a while, you know. Okay, so I've got some rhubarb, some of the cream cheese, and the buttery crust. Oh my gosh. That. And please, if you've ever made any of my recipes, I'm never going to bring you something that isn't spot on. I'm not going to say it's delicious. I always will give you a tested recipe. And if I don't, I'm going to say this first time I made it. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure what's best. This crust or the rhubarb or the cream cheese. It is delicious. I'm not even joking. I could have this for dinner. Look at that cream cheese. So the duck egg cooks it up nice. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And it did not stick at all. The last crust or shortbread that I didn't have quite as much butter. And so it stuck on one side and it was kind of disappointing. I had to soak my dish for a while. But I like having an 8x8 pan. We'll be able to, once this is completely cooled, I'll put it in the refrigerator and we'll be able to have dessert for the rest of the week. And anything that might have stuck on the sides from the sugar, no problem. Okay, I ate my whole bite. If I had 10 thumbs, they'd all be up. Oh my gosh, you guys. Please make this. Come back and tell us how you liked it. I do think that next time I make it, I'm going to add more rhubarb. Only because I am a rhubarb fiend. I love it so much. And I think it could have used a little bit more. But I followed the recipe from when I made it before. And maybe I was a little heavy on the rhubarb last time. I don't know. But it is absolutely wonderful. You could actually make this. You could make a strawberry rhubarb like this. Just add some strawberries in there. You could make this, yeah, you could change out the fruit if you wanted to. You could change it to blueberries. You could change it to apples and you'd make the apples small so they could cook all the way through. This was in the oven for 40 minutes at 350. So it's so good. I hope that you try it. I hope that it inspires you to grow rhubarb and pick it and or buy it at the store or get it from a friend and make this because it is delicious. You won't regret it. All right, I'm gonna let you go and I'll see you on the next recipe. I've got another one of those never buy it again coming up. You're going to love this recipe, and I hope if you're not a subscriber, you hit subscribe, thumbs up, and share it on your social media. I appreciate you. Oh, and leave me a comment. I want to know what you think.